Hello you guys, and welcome to Honors Algebra 2, and we're starting right at the beginning with domain, range, and end behavior, and 3 ways of showing that. But all your goal is to keep up and kind of take notes. I've added a few little things that you don't have to add. I'm going to go page by page, so we're going to make it through about a page and a half on this, and let's get started. Alright, so our goal is to be able to represent an interval on a number line using 3 methods: inequalities, set notation, which you're going to see are very, very similar, and interval notation. An interval, what we're going to be representing, is just part of a number line. If this was a number line, this section in between here would be an interval. Alright, sometimes those intervals are finite, like this interval is from here to here. Notice this open circle, that means not including this side. And some intervals are infinite, that means they are unbounded or go on forever. This one stops over here on the left, but goes on forever on the right, represented by an arrow. Alright, 3 different notations. I think you'll find this pretty easy. Here's what they are. They're inequalities, set notation, and interval notation. So there's type, finite, and infinite, and this says all real numbers from a point A to a point B. It doesn't matter what that point is. If you're ending on both the left and the right, it's finite. This says x is greater than or less than A and less than or equal to B. Greater than or equal to. In set notation, notice all we really do is we say what we're talking about. This appears in set notation. In fact, set notation, you could say, uses inequalities within it. They get this cool little set, kind of looks like a bracket, and then you say x bar, which tells you what variable you're talking about. Notice that on this one we're using brackets. A bracket over here means I touch A, and a bracket over here means I touch B, indicated right here by that equal sign. Alright, so this one says all real numbers are greater than A. Notice that it says greater than A. Alright, I'm going to point 2 things. Right, this says x is greater than A. It didn't say equal to, so we don't really have that equal to part on there. Alright, and again, same thing, we just put the interval notation, we put those parentheses and the x bar there, but the same thing you see right here. And over here, when you're not equal to A, instead of using a bracket, we use a soft stop, which is just a parenthesis. And when you go on forever, you say infinity. You can't touch infinity. Can't touch this. No, 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 no. Can't touch this. So whenever you get to an infinity, you also use a parenthesis instead of a bracket. So let's do this. All right. All real numbers less than or equal to A. We're going to go down forever. So since we're moving in one direction forever, it's infinite. I'm just going to say x is less than, but this time it says equal to A. I'm going to do my set notation. That means I'm going to have these sets. I'm going to say x bar. I'm going to say x is less than or equal to A. All right. We start down on the left side with the smallest point. So we're going to negative infinity. Notice I use a parenthesis, means we can't touch it. And I'm going to say right here A, and we're allowed to touch it because the equal, so I'm going to use a bracket. Alright, so we're going to come down, I'm going to do these 2. I'm going to show you what I want you to do afterwards before you start the next video, and I'm going to check that tomorrow. Alright, so here we go. Inequality, and we can see this touches negative 3 and it also touches 2, so I'm going to say x is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to negative 3 and less than or equal to 2. For set notation, I'm going to do the same thing, right, except I'm going to have this parentheses with x bar. I'm just going to repeat that, right? The exact thing I wrote for an inequality. And then for interval notation, I touch negative 3, so I use a bracket, right? And then I say comma, I touch 2, so I use a bracket. Alright, pretty easy, isn't it? Notice up here, we're still in between negative 3 and 2, but we don't touch negative 3. So I'm going to say negative 3 is just less than x. Touches 2, so less than or equal to 2. Once again, set notation, right? I'm going to do this little x bar. I'm going to write the same thing. Going to come down here. I don't touch 3, so I'm going to use a parenthesis. I touch 2, so I'm going to use a bracket. Pretty quick, isn't it? Almost done with the first page already. Coming over here, this is an infinite one, isn't it? So this one is literally x is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to come over here and say x bar, and then I'm going to say x is less than or equal to 2. And then the interval notation, I'm going to use parentheses because I can't touch infinity. You've got to start at the low, not the high. And then I touch 2, so I'm going to use a bracket. Alright, other side, here we go. This is x is greater than, not equal to 2. Notice that open circle, not equal. Alright, do the same thing, but I'm going to do that set notation with an x bar. I'm going to say again, x is greater than 2. And I'm going to use my interval notation right there. I'm going to come here and I'm going to, well, I start at the low end. I use parenthesis 2, comma, and my upper end is infinity, and I'm not touching that 2, and you can't touch infinity. There's page 1. Here's what I'd like you to do. If you look on your next page, right? This is reflect. So I'm going to have you do all of these, 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll discuss that real quick tomorrow. And I will talk to you soon.